we discuss how little ideas are transformed into big dreams. On the toolkit, and you will access a lot of resources. A lot of the information that we presented here today, there are a lot of activity sheets. So we encourage you to download some of that information. Also, there's a digital swag bag with Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I am so excited, and you probably can hear it in my voice. First of all, it is our final Wednesday in the month of March. And of course, you know, we've been celebrating Women's History Month all month long. We had an interview about 2 weeks ago where we spoke to some amazing women who became single mothers at a very young age, and they've transformed their lives, and they are movers and shakers. I really enjoyed that. Today, we have 3 phenomenal Antiguan and Barbudan descendants, and they have amazing stories. They're entrepreneurs, and we have so much to talk about. But let me get my co-host in here, because of course I don't do this show alone. Welcome Megan Samuel Fields, our CFO of Little Bite Ideas. Megan, how are you today?
I am great. Hi, Jerry. Nice to see you, and good afternoon to our viewers and listeners. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Yes. So we did the
smart thing. I'm excited.
We did the smart thing. You know, we know everyone's busy. These weeks go by so quickly.
Oh my goodness.
And you know what's so hilarious? I forgot that we had fallen back. So I was killing myself to get on air at 4. And then I realized no one was coming on, and I thought, wait a minute. I said, oh my God, it's time to, I have another hour.
Well, that makes you early.
I was beyond early. I was logged in since 3:00 or 3:30. But it's worth it. We're going to have a phenomenal show today. And as I mentioned, we have 3 ladies. They're all entrepreneurs in their own rights. They are women who have made the news. They have, international acclaim. And we're delighted and very honored that they've consented to share their stories with us today. So, of course, we're going to be talking to these trailblazing fempreneurs. And if you haven't heard that, femme for female, fempreneurs. I did not make it up. I wish I did. And our topic is Fempreneurs, monetize your dreams and turn passion into profits. And they always say, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And I think to a large extent, these ladies here today are a testament of that. So let's get started, and we're going to introduce these lovely ladies. First of all, we have Keisha Schahaff. And unless you're living under a rock, everyone heard about Keisha. Keisha went to space. She had a cosmic experience. We want to hear about it. We're delighted that we talked to her before she went.
Yes.
And she promised she would come back. So thank you for keeping your word, Keisha. I couldn't have felt better if it was me on that spacecraft. I was just so excited that, awesome. Wow.
Yeah. And how's your daughter doing, Keisha?
Wow.
The one who went with you to space.
She's good. She's actually studying in Aberdeen University out in Scotland, Aberdeen. But first of all, wow, it's so nice to be back here again. Thank you for having me here again, Megan.
Time goes by so quickly.
You do such an amazing job just connecting everyone and sharing good information, education. Thank you for doing that.
That's our passion. That's our passion. We haven't turned into profits yet.
I don't know about the profits part, but that's our passion.
Let's start with the passion.
Let's start with the passion.
No passion, no profits. That's for
exactly. Sure. We're manifesting here. It will
absolutely. Come.
Absolutely.
So
We'll come back and tell you a bit more about Keisha. The next person I'd like to introduce is Chantal Carter.
Hey, Chantal.
Hi,
Hello.
Chantal.
Hello, ladies. So great to be here.
Yes, and Chantal, we were just, before we got on air, we were talking about trying to find the family connections. We all have country parents. I don't know about you, Keisha, but for the rest of us, we all have country parents.
I think I'm quite mixed with. They're from everywhere.
Yep. So yeah, Chantal, she didn't put it in her bio, but I was presumptuous because I was so excited when I heard that Chantal was on Dragon's Den.
Yeah.
I am a junkie for the Shark Tank. My kids think I'm crazy, but I love the Shark Tank. And, of course, Dragon's Den, I watch it from time to time. But we want to hear about that experience as well. I mean, that, and she got a deal.
I did, yeah.
Wow.
I want to hear about that.
Amazing.
Yeah, Dragon's Den is the Canadian equivalent to Shark Tank.
The Shark
For
Tank.
those of you who don't know.
Yes.
Nice. Want to hear more about that?
Yeah.
Yes, sure.
Yes, I'll be happy
And
to share.
Love and Nudes.
Yeah.
That needs to be unpacked.
The name is a conversation starter, most definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, like I said, these are innovators. Our next guest, when I heard her story, I was just like, wow, does it get any better? We have Dr. Laurie Samuel, and she is a criminologist.
Good evening.
So I'm going to call her Miss CSI.
I love
Law
it.
and Order. I mean, we
Miss
have
Law
such a
and Order.
diverse. So we have space, we have criminology. I'm trying to put Chantal. Chantal is fashion, manufacturing, deal maker,
Wellness.
Love
Oh,
and
my
Nudes.
goodness.
Oh, wellness. Keisha's wellness too. So we have it. We have it all
Exactly.
here.
And of course, Laurie, based on what you do in terms of ensuring the safety of women, and I hear that you help teach self-defense classes and what have you.
I do.
Yeah. So that's a lot of mindset management right there.
For sure. It's not just the physical, it's the holistic, right?
Oh, I can imagine.
Love it.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Yes.
So, ladies, we have so much to talk about. I have a bio, but you know what? The bio is what you kind of write to make sure that that's for the press. The bio is what we send out to make sure people tune in to want to meet you guys. So we did our job. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start by giving all of you ladies an opportunity to introduce yourself. I want to really hear, of course, this show is called Little Bite Ideas. It's all about ideas. We believe, Megan, if I have an idea.
And you have an idea.
Well.
They're just two ideas.
They're just two ideas. But when we bring those ideas together and we work together,
then
that's when
we have
the synergies and that's when the
eureka moments. Yep.
So I suspect with all of this creativity and innovation and experience here today, who knows what ideas we'll walk away from, if not today, but in the future.
Sure.
So let me start with you, Keisha. Tell us a bit about you. I know, of course, we want to hear about your cosmic experience. You're probably in that 0.000000001% of people who will ever have that experience.
Yeah.
So, Keisha, why don't you start by telling us a bit about who you are? We want to learn about you as far as your entrepreneurial pursuits, and just tell us a bit about who you are.
Well, first of all, I'm from Antigua and Barbuda. I'm a mother of two beautiful young women. My story is one of transformation from, I've always been a lucky girl, but just like all of us, there's been some heavy challenges. So as a child, I went through a lot of challenges, but my dream and passion always was to go to space. It all started when I was a tiny little girl. I can remember from as far back as 2. I'm one of those fortunate ones that my memory has stayed with me. And my grandfather used to tell me stories about the first man that actually went to the moon. And I was like, I want to go there as well. I want to venture out into space. But this was a childish mind. And as you grow up, reality hits you and you see it's not as easy as it you thought it would have been. Faced with a lot of learning challenges, dyslexia, ADHD, hyperactive, and all of this. So, in my days, you were basically sent to the back of the class. Um, but I had to teach myself how to learn as I was growing up. And I was very passionate and driven that I don't want to ever be a failure. And I didn't see my ability as being a failure, but I just saw that I had to put in more work and be more innovative in my success, my road to my success. So I didn't like to hear the word no. My parents would tell me no a lot of times, and then I would find ways to get it done. So I remember at age 12, I decided I'm going to earn my own money because it's a waste of time going to my parents to ask for anything because it's always no. So I remember one summer I set myself into town and I said, I'm not going home until I get a job. And I did. And I was so excited. I was earning my own money. I was saving. And by the time I was maybe 18 years old, I bought my first land. And it's a good thing that I did that. It's a good thing that I did that because I got pregnant as well at the age of 19. That set me back because I wanted to be an accountant as well. My whole idea was that I'm going to be a chartered accountant, travel the world and do people's books, and I still have my freedom. I can move around and all of that. But the plan didn't work out because, that was my first experience of being deceived. So I got pregnant and had to make plan B. So I sold my land, which was good because I got like 4 times the amount that I spent. And I was able to now help my mother to build a house that I could now live on to help to raise my daughter.
Oh my goodness.
Got my first job as a flight attendant when I was also 19. And that also put me in touch with part of my dream, which was the traveling the world. So I was always a person with a positive mindset. So no matter how much challenges came my way, I always found a way through it, navigating my way through it. So I raised my daughter, got married, was very fortunate. I got married, had my second daughter. But again, challenges walk side by side with me. Like those stories where you have like the good angel and the bad angel on your shoulder telling you stuff. So I kind of felt like good fortune and challenge was like that. Both of them are just walking with you. And it just depends on what you are focusing on.
Yeah.
So with all of that being said, as my younger daughter now is leaving home, and I'm like, what is my purpose now? I've raised my daughters, I've accomplished things, I've learned how to start up business and all of this kind of stuff, worked in corporate, wore so many different hats, became a coach and all of that, life coach, wellness coach, health coach, map coach, a whole bunch of coach with it. And then I started speaking to the universe as a manifestation, not because I believe the universe is God or anything like that, but just started speaking to the universe. Like, I really want to go to space to live my dream. And then suddenly an ad just appeared out of nowhere while sitting on a flight. And I saw Richard Branson and he says, do you want to go to space? In this ad, it was an Amaze ad. And I'm like, this has to be from the universe, the power of manifestation. And I said, if it is meant to be, it will be. So I signed up. And then 2 months later, Mr. Richard Branson showed up at my house and said, you won. But you won and you're going to space. So that was pretty much amazing because I was going through challenges in the home and all of that. And my daughters are no longer there. So I went to space. So 2 years after, with all the training and everything, I passed the program, became an astronaut, and went to space. And that was phenomenal. A feeling of such connection, such peace. Also putting our island even more on the map because we might be small, but we're so big with so many amazing people that has come from Antigua as well. And what that has done is like brought such a feeling of inclusion and purpose, and making me understand that my life is also worthy, just like all of our lives, just like the universe. And just to see our earth from out there is just like a Zen monk, just sitting there, not sitting, just floating there in this, like it's floating in water or in gases or something, but just looks so magnificent with the vastness of darkness around it. It was beautiful, but it also humbled you so much. And just being in zero gravity gave me the feeling of something greater than us is out there. And also the feeling of total peace. I've never felt peace like that in my life.
Wow.
And ever since coming back, that peace stayed with me. So I felt like that was an initiation, like a blessing. And I felt even more purpose driven to help other people to also help transition in their life, working on themselves. If we want peace on our planet, we have to work on ourselves. So all the wellness practitioners and educators who are out there doing the work, it's such an important job, because you're helping people to be in tune with themselves so they can be kinder, happier, purpose driven, doing the work on themselves so they can be better people for our communities and our planet as well. If we have people who are not healthy, then not focused in the mind, most likely mental health is a problem, and you can do more damage out there as well, hurting other people, people that you love, and all of that. So it's such an important venture with doing that. And when it comes to entrepreneurship, I believe in collaboration. I tried into soul trading, and it's a very hard and tedious road and journey. You have to take that leap of faith, and you have to partner with other people, collaborate with other people, learn how to invest, how to be patient, spread your eggs all around. And that's basically what I have tried. And when you do it in this way, know how to sell yourself and sell your idea. Sometimes you don't even need to have a startup. You don't even need to invest. Other people can invest in it. And you can employ other people to run it as well. You don't even need to have the brain to know how to run it. You just have to have the passion, and everything else will align itself. The universe manifests for us. We just have to start doing the work on ourselves, clearing away the blocks and all the challenges. So that's basically a summary.
That's
deep.
That's I love it. Yeah,
Keisha,
very
let
nice.
me also say this. It's been maybe close to 2 years since we first connected with you.
Yeah, more than.
I don't know what kind of media training or mindset shifting exposure you've had, but Keisha, you sound like a totally different person. Megan, I don't know what you think.
Absolutely.
But I'm listening. I'm like, who is this
not
person?
that you weren't confident, but you exude a confidence,
I am
calmness.
telling
you. I see it.
Wow.
It's the stardust from space.
I don't doubt it. Because I'm telling you, I can hear the confidence. I can hear the peace.
Yeah.
I can hear, I can hear the energy.
And I can see it too.
Of course. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You ladies have me blushing.
Well, you deserve to blush. But thank you so much for sharing that amazing story. Let's shift over to Chantal, and we want to hear about introduce yourself and share with us your journey.
Yes. Hello. Thank you for sharing, Keisha. My name is Chantal Carter. I'm from Toronto, Canada, originally from Montreal, Canada. And I think that's where my journey with fashion begun. So I worked my mom was in the garment industry, so I was always surrounded by fashion. Knew about sample sales before it was even a thing. Some of you may not know what that is either. So it's when designers sell their samples to the public, but the public was a very small public, and it had to be people who knew about that. Anyway, so I just got really passionate about fashion, and then I became a wardrobe stylist, and that is somebody who curates outfits for photo shoots, movie sets, commercials. And I saw something. I saw a lack, something that was missing. And if I wanted my own nude undergarments, I had to paint a white bra and white panty with fabric paint that went with my skin tone color.
Wow.
And I wore it, and it was hard, and it was crusty, and it was uncomfortable, but I didn't care because it gave me the look that I needed and that I wanted. And I thought to myself, no one should have to do this for for something that matched your skin tone color. And why did I have to do that? Because in the fashion industry, nude was pretty much described as a beige, peach, tan colors, really conducive to European skin tone colors. And that wasn't the complete picture. I kept waiting for something to change to see a more inclusive products that represented me and all of my melanated sisters, but that never happened. And that's how Love and Nudes was born.
Wow.
Out of to disrupt the fashion and beauty industries on what the meaning of nude was. And we are the first inclusive skin tone intimates line in Canada.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And this journey started about 7 years ago. And through that journey, it led me someplace special while I was trying to get more promotion and sales for my business. I was working with a team, and I discovered that Black women had a 40% higher mortality rate due to breast cancer, more so than white women. And under the age of 50, that went up to 50% mortality rate.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, well, I created this line to uplift Black women and women of color. And I was like, well, what was the point if they weren't even going to be alive to wear it? So this took me into the wellness and education space to create the first of its kind inclusive breast cancer screening bras. And this helps women to give women a tactile feel of what breast cancer, the early symptoms of breast cancer look and feel like on different skin tone colors. So it's an area that I never imagined landing in, but because of this journey that I took, it led me here and now. And right now they're in a prototype stages. So looking for investment to just kind of get it out there into the public, and mentorship to learn more. So that's kind of where I'm at now. And I'm so, like Keisha said, I realized that I knew from the beginning that my business wasn't about the lingerie or the intimates. I always said I'm not a lingerie company. These garments are a vessel for empowerment and self-love, and to show Black women and women of color that we're visible, I see you, and we matter, and to bring us to the forefront, for us to celebrate ourselves the way we are, even though we're forgotten. So I wanted to bring that change about.
So Chantal, are your products online?
Yes, they are. The breast cancer screening bras, they are just prototypes right now. But the intimates, yes, they're online.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's
what a phenomenal story.
Yeah, while I was in Antigua earlier this year, and I met with the Minister of Health to show him the product. So yeah, it's been really well received.
That's
fantastic.
Really good. Wow.
Fantastic. Wow.
Awesome.
Great. Well, I've already been blown away. So Laurie, let's do it again, because I know you have
blow us away again.
I know you will not disappoint.
No pressure.
At all.
Not at all. well, thanks again for having me. This is extra special because whenever somebody asks me to describe myself, I say I'm an island girl first. Then I say I'm a weightlifter because I'm so into the gym. Like I'm always at the gym.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm a justice fighter. So those are the descriptives of Laurie in a nutshell. And it is the justice fighter part that has really taken me to where I am with Cupid Sting. And what's interesting is that I never set out to have a business, run a business. My life was laid out. I know earlier we were talking about, as children of West Indian parents, there are things that you have to do. So you're going to go to school, you're going to get an A+, you're going to get, you're going to be a doctor, a lawyer, an astronaut, all of these things. And we've all accomplished that. So I love school. I have a bunch of degrees. And it was just because it was fun. But I set this plan out for myself to get into the police department. And one of the things that I always saw, so I did grow up in Toronto, but I went to school in the States. So I spent the majority of my life in the States. But of course, anywhere around the world, what we see is this tension. And I always say that that's like the kind word between the police and the community, but between the police and the Black community. And I wanted to be a part of the system in a positive way to affect some change. So my goal was always to get a job with the police department. And what I wanted to do was, work internal affairs and do the investigations and really do something about police misconduct. So, it's been fun. My degrees are in criminology. So I have a PhD in criminology.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. My expertise actually is in retaliation homicide. So really looking at
CSI, do you read CSI?
It's fun. It's interesting. It's hard. Mm-hmm. It's traumatic when you see our community going through this type of trauma and it's become normalized and it's generational. It just boggles the mind. It really does boggle the mind. And you try to come up with innovative interventions and sometimes they just don't want it. So what do you do, right? So my work as it relates to women, which is very interesting that I never wanted to work with women. There are two areas in policing that as a woman, you don't really want to work in. And that's with women and that's with children. So you never really want to work in the soft, nurturing, where they just kind of put women in those areas just because you are a woman. So I wanted to be in like the hard units, to just prove myself. And I did. But there was one thing that was nagging at me and something that I would see all the time was the violence and the disproportionate impact of this violence on women. So when we were looking at homicide, domestic violence is like the number one killer of women.
Wow.
And then when you just look at homicide in general, who's left to pick up the pieces? The mothers of the children, yeah. The partners and the wives of the men that are being taken too young. And it was just too much. But what I was seeing in terms of a trend when you look at domestic violence and intimate partner violence and just overall violence against women is that most of those women looks like me. So that when I'd see the news reports, when we would get the reports, our guys are investigating everything. And I was just like, it's just a Band-Aid solution. Like, what are we doing? So for me, I wanted to come up with something that was proactive, something that somehow we can get in front of the problem and do some prevention work before these issues escalated. So just on a whim, honestly, it wasn't that, I'm going to start this business. I said, I'm going to teach self-defense. I'm going to, get a room at my gym. They said yes. I put it out on Eventbrite and women showed up.
Wow.
And not only did they show up, they wanted to talk. They felt safe. They felt seen. I think there's a common theme because Keisha said it and Chantal said it about the worthiness, right? I say all the time is that all women are worthy of their safety. We should be safe. We are not well, we're not healthy if we're not safe, right? That's safe at home, safe at work, safe in our community. It is absolutely imperative. So what happened is that it was a safe space for women to tell their stories, to get some information on resources. It's never about, oh, leave. Because I hear all the time women say, oh, if he hits me, I'm going to leave. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Where are you going to go? Right? The shelters are full. So many women are embarrassed. Nobody knows, but everybody knows, right? So for me, it changed from just doing, and not just doing, but doing the self-defense and doing the safety training to more about awareness. And when we talk about our community and when we look at Caribbean people, the numbers are so high.
Oh, wow.
Oh, extremely high. And what we do is we say it's a private issue and we're not going to talk about it. That's between husband and wife. That's aunt and uncle. We all know. Everybody knows. You know, the woman is pretending, right? Putting makeup on and putting on sunglasses. And everybody knows every Thursday when her man gets paid, she's going to get beat because, you know, he's going to drink.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's having these conversations out in the open, being very vocal about it, because I am very vocal about it, and naming it. Because what's interesting is that women are saying that, oh, I didn't know this was abuse, you know, emotional abuse and financial abuse, but this is what it is. And from my lens, it's a crime, right? So if people understand that this violence against women or domestic violence, intimate partner violence is a crime, I think we start looking at it a little differently. But for me, it's about saving lives. It's about preventing it. It's about reducing it. It's about the young girls that are coming up now, so they have an understanding what a healthy relationship looks like, so that maybe they're either attracting or making different decisions, right? Making different decisions so that we can go to space or we can create fashion lines for us and not another funeral.
Wow, that's so powerful.
Wow,
Ladies,
wow.
this is I mean, this is just a phenomenal combination here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just blown away, and I have to really thank my great colleague Erica Henry Jackman, my baby sister, for at least
Our.
bringing the hour. Yes, hour. Keisha, you probably know Erica. Did you guys go to school together?
Well, she's much older.
No, I don't think so. No,
Erica was
I
probably
I left in '96.
Oh
I
no,
think-
Erica is before that, I think.
yeah, Erica's a little younger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty. This is a powerful discussion. When we're going to take a break and take some questions and comments from our listeners. When we come back, we want to talk about some of the challenges that we women face in our entrepreneurial pursuits. It's not easy. We've talked about a lot of the challenges that we're, you know, in terms of our health, in terms of our safety, but in terms of actually running a business. Even if we are able to surmount all these challenges, when we come down to running a business, the perceptions, the just the hurdles that we face are quite vast. So when we get
And-
back,
I was going to say, and they are internal and external.
oh my goodness,
These
I don't know that we have
Yeah.
the time here today to really peel back all of the layers. But let's see how we can kind of identify some of the broad challenges and unique challenges that women face in our entrepreneurial pursuits. So, Megan, if you could take the questions and comments, and
Really
we will
will.
get right back to our discussion.
All right. So the first comment is from Althea Scantlebury. She says, "Good evening, ladies. What an interesting panel of guests you have today. Really looking forward to this show." So Althea, I hope you are enjoying it. I surely am.
Yep.
And Fanny King Roberts says, "Good afternoon, everyone." Hi, Fanny. And I'm going to botch this name, Dakarai Jonas. D is all I'm going to say. I'm sure you pick up your name. Good afternoon is what she says. And good afternoon to you. Is a she or a he? He, sorry. I'm sorry. He says. Yes, that's all we have. So keep your questions and comments coming. That's all we have for now.
Fantastic. So, Keisha, let's get back to you. Of course, your business is one of coaching, and you don't have a physical product, or it's a service that has to be constantly redefined. Tell us about the challenges that you've faced over the years as a female venturing into the sphere of entrepreneurship.
All right. So for me, there's multiple businesses that, like, when I entered the entrepreneurship world, first I started off with a restaurant, and I knew that I should have started off with a small restaurant, but I just went big.
What was the
We
name of
went
your
big.
restaurant?
It was called Burger Bar.
Okay.
So that was about 15, 16 years ago.
Okay.
We
Where was it
opened
located?
it was located in English Harbor.
Okay.
It was over 20 tables, located in a hotel. So it was a hotel restaurant,
Okay.
and it was really big. We managed to keep it running for at least a year. But in my mind, I saw that I could do it, go big or go home, basically, kind of like that. I had a lot of help. I had a lot of activities going on, just really a lot of entertainment. But then after the year passed, I realized that I needed to put more money in there. um, and I was burned out. So even if I had the money to put in there, or it was accessible for me, I didn't have the energy for it, because I was basically operating it as if I was operating it by myself. So I was up very early in the morning, let's say 4 o'clock, doing the
Oh
books and
my
all of
goodness.
that, doing the preps for the meals and all of that.
You were doing the
Going,
cooking as well?
I was assisting with it.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Then
That's a lot.
stocking up the bar, making sure that we had everything that we needed, cleaning, managing the staff, and it was really tedious managing the staff, because not everyone has the passion that you have.
Right.
Because of the passion, I felt like I had the burst of energy, but then the energy only lasted so long.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just had to close it, and that devastated me. That was like a big trauma, because I put so much energy, so much time. I trusted and let go of everything, let go of my job that was in the bank, and decided I'm just going to go all in and make sure that it works. But it's okay, because it was such a learning adventure for me. Went into the next thing, and the
Well, let me
next thing,
let me
the
ask
next
you
thing.
this: how much financial literacy, how much knowledge, training, preparation, as far as expertise, did you really bring to the table? How prepared were you for this?
Well, I knew what to do because I studied business all my life, had a degree in business administration, but I didn't have the, what do you call it? I didn't have the experience in running a business.
Hmm.
So I lacked that. Um, then I went into business again, had a boutique, because fashion also, just like, you know,
Chantel.
Chantel was saying that she had a passion for that. I had a passion for that too. I had like over 20 Barbie dolls, and I used to just dress them up as a child and whatever. And I studied textiles, so I was making my own clothes. Everything was in-house, making my clothes, traveling and sourcing fabric, coming back to Antigua. And it was really great. It was beautiful experience. But what I found was lacking was mindset. I was holding myself back. So when I looked at the failures in different businesses that I was operating, and it was my mindset. I didn't believe enough in myself as well. So I felt like I was pushing. It's like I'm going against a force. And when it comes to manifestation, you have to also trust. You have to be like water, be soft but still firm at the same time. And it's almost like a runway, like when everything seems to be going against you. I mean, one of the things that Henry Ford said was to remember, even the airplane takes off against the wind, not
Yes.
with it.
Mm.
Yes.
So that's something that I had to learn from the experience. And
Yeah, it
there,
sounds to me
I
too that you probably didn't have a lot of mentors. And
I didn't have a lot of mentors at
I
the
think
time,
that's
but
something that we
this,
don't have. I mean, as
hmm
women, period. And in Antigua, I think it's even more challenging. Having
yes,
mentors who can
yes,
really guide you and steer you along a path because,
yes.
there are not enough experienced women running businesses.
Not enough. And also, there's a lot of jealousy as well. So I
Oh,
found that
for
every
sure.
staff that I hired, they came with the intention of being my competition. So they took the
Mhm.
idea and went with it.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's a
So,
big point, where the mindset part of it, where we come in and we have the passion, and that's what I was referring to when I mentioned internal and external issues, because a lot of times it's the things that we hear our parents or we see our parents do. So going back to what Dr. Laurie said with the abuse, everybody knows it's happening, but you don't talk about it
right,
because
right.
you're not supposed to talk about it. And so you start a business and you want help, but you're not supposed to ask for help because that's going to look like you're failing. And
Yeah, yeah.
so you keep pouring the money in, you keep working extra hours because you alone must succeed, because one, persons who are coming in might want to steal your idea. uh,
Hmm, hmm.
it's just a lot of head work that
Yeah,
I think women, I don't know, men might have a bit of it, but I think as women, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves.
yes.
We have to, we have to prove ourselves because it's a man's world. So we have to prove ourselves and we put a lot of pressure, and a lot of our childhood baggage
Traumas.
kind
Yeah.
of weighs us down. So it's tough. And
And
not having
I find
mentors,
too, sorry to cut across you, we work hard, but not necessarily work smart.
we
And
don't.
like Dr.
Because we're
Laurie
supposed to
said,
work hard. That's what we're told.
you were
When you're in
told you work
school.
hard. So you just continue
Yeah.
working what putting in the effort, the elbow grease, the hard work, but you're not stopping to really assess the outcomes, the results. Am I on the right track? And it's very complicated because, as I mentioned, where do you go in a place like Antigua? Where do you get the mentorship?
Yeah, it's hard.
You
It's
know,
hard.
it's very hard. I mean, now we have a university. There may be more resources. There are online resources you can probably tap into. But 10 or 15 years ago, people weren't as open to discussing their
Mhm.
ideas, and
That's right.
there just was not enough expertise available, readily available for
And people
young
don't want to give
entrepreneurs.
ideas unless they're going to get something out of it.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So they could be successful already on their own, and you're just starting up. So it's very difficult to get that the right support from
Correct.
others,
Yeah.
because they're thinking in their mind again, because of mindset and fears and all of that, and whatever other reasons, internal reasons, they're not open to sharing with you.
Mhm.
So I had to begin with knowing myself, getting into myself and knowing myself, seeing where my fears are coming from, whose voices am I hearing in the background, and start doing this deeper work, deeper dive work with myself. Not everybody has the time or the money to say they're going to go to university to learn how to open this business or whatever. Some people need to eat now.
Exactly.
Right?
That's true.
So collaboration is the number one suggestion I will give to anyone. Learn how to collaborate.
Yeah. And we know that well, Dorit, because we've
Oh, for
always said
sure. Oh,
we
sure.
can't do this. It's
We are
not a one man
sisters.
show.
We could not. I mean, we have two different strengths. There are things that she does that I wouldn't want to touch, and there are things that
Yeah.
I do
Vice
that she wouldn't
versa.
even want to touch. So
I wouldn't even
you
know how
really,
to start.
you really need that allyship in
Yeah,
running a business. You do. In having a show, you need to.
Yeah.
Um,
absolutely.
Chantel, tell us. I mean, beyond just running a business, you put yourself on under the microscope by going on Dragon's Den. And I'm not that familiar with the investors on Dragon's Den as much as I am on Shark Tank. But I can only imagine being under the spotlight, the grilling, the questions, even putting your pitch together.
Mhm.
Um, I can only imagine what you've gone through, what you had to go through. So tell us, what do you see as, based on your experience, as some of the major challenges that women face in running a business?
Um, yeah, some things were mentioned because it's like I feel like running a business kind of broke me down of what was going on in my head that I never imagined. I thought having a business would fix everything,
Yep. Yep.
but it's not true. It really highlighted what I didn't know, what I need to learn, and all my insecurities. And are you vulnerable with that? We're not taught to be vulnerable and ask for help, because that is a sign of weakness.
Yep.
So we're like going through the emotions that can be very difficult for women. Well, maybe I shouldn't say for all women, but for me, that was one of the challenges. And like I said, like mentorship and knowing who to trust, because there's a lot of smoke and mirrors out there. Like I thought, oh, when I'm on Dragon's Den, the cash register is just going to explode. And it's like, that's not the case. It's kind of trial and error. I've done a lot of press, and sometimes it works, but sometimes it doesn't. And you're led to believe that if you follow this formula, the red carpet is going to be at your feet. But when you get into actually doing the business, you find out that it's not the way that it's presented to you.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's really difficult. And what was hard for me was the financial part, because I sucked with financial things. And it's like, I saw that was a thing in my personal life too. And it's like, I saw where you do one thing is where you do everything.
Yep.
So
you are who you are.
Yeah. So kind of like that was hard for me to face, because you're supposed to know when you have a bit, like you're supposed to know, I'm in air quotes, when you have a business. But it was very difficult to ask for help or admit that I needed help in that area.
Did you even know what to ask for, though? Because I think sometimes that's a challenge. You don't even know what you don't know.
Yeah, there was like a lot of shame. Because I should know. And then I didn't.
You've been on Dragon's Den. Why wouldn't you know?
Exactly. But I know that I know more than I think that I know. But I thought that I didn't know enough.
I get you.
But it's true that your thought process is not linear at all. I mean, it's there's so many things to process and so many issues to resolve.
And I'll tell you, Chantal, my background is business. I did accounting. I'm a CPA. And when I started my business, I did the right thing. I did my business plan. I knew exactly what was to happen. It didn't happen the way I planned it. And looking back, what I realized was one of my biggest challenges was I never built in the thought of failure. So when the business didn't do as well as I thought it would based on my business plan, it really hit me. And truth be told, I generally don't fail. So when the business...
He doesn't.
But then there's nothing wrong with failing. We need to have
I know that. And I'm grateful for all the things I learned, but I went through a feeling of shame.
Yeah.
Because I'm a CPA. How come my business isn't doing well? So I get it. So it's not even so much the fact that you didn't know, you didn't have the financial knowledge. I had the financial knowledge, but I think maybe I needed to have a Doreed in my corner at the time. Marketing, that wasn't my thing. Okay. So, but I went through a period of, and I don't even think you ever knew this Doreed. I was embarrassed because I was just barely, holding my own, but that was not my expectation. And I went through a period of, I feel a little embarrassed here because I should be doing better. And so I was really hard on myself.
Yeah. And then that's what happened with me. And so and I think if for women, a lot of women in general, funding, because we're very underfunded. And I say when it comes to Black women, the funding even is less.
Yes.
So funding to keep the business going, because it's like I bootstrapped everything pretty much. I did crowdfunding. That was the hardest thing that I've ever done.
I can imagine.
You know, trying to working on getting financing, and it still is, and I'm still looking for that. That's very hard.
And our culture doesn't prepare us very well for that either. You know, that's a whole nother issue. We don't know how to act.
It's like it's go look work. That's what I grew up in.
Exactly.
Get a job.
No, but it's hard work.
Because we work hard.
Yeah, and it's like I don't like that word working hard for me because it's like I remember for me it meant suffer.
Yes, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like push a boulder uphill and you'll get what you want. But that's not for me. That's not true. But that was my interpretation of like working hard means that you got to sweat, labor. Oh my gosh, this that, and there's
some people meant that.
I think our parents did.
If you're not sweating, my mother's like, if you're not sweating, you're not working.
You're not working. Yeah. Come on.
That's not true. And it's like changing that mindset. But there's still a lot of people around that believe that. So
you ask my mother how she's doing, she's gonna say tired.
I
work too hard.
That's all that working hard gets you tired.
That's all. And she means it in a very endearing way. Oh, I'm so tired. You know, she brings herself
tired and stressed out.
So so I want to say that it like those struggles, like the internal, is really hard for me, and I know some other women. The financial part, the support, and busting through the myths to figure out your own path, and it doesn't have to look like someone else's.
Right. Yeah, that's great. Laurie, tell us. Your area has its own built-in challenges, insecurities, and built-in challenges over and above whatever else.
She went into a male-dominated area.
Oh, absolutely, and
they had to do with testosterone.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and I conquered it, so they have nothing to say. So, yeah, I mean, for me, in terms of challenges, I mean, I love a challenge. So, but because I see the trauma and the devastating impact playing small can have, and being quiet. When I talk to women, it's always about like empowering them to stop playing small. That's just one thing I don't do. And I always find that if I ask somebody for something, or you're trying to collaboration, partnership, and they say no, I always feel like I'm on the right track. They're saying no because they didn't think about it, or maybe I'm going to outshine them, which is not the intention. So I find that it's been nice because it's allowed me to be creative, to try a lot of different things. I will say that running a business in the US and then running it in Canada is very, very different. It was easier. It was easy, even, I would say, in the US. Not as much so here.
Is it because there are more resources, or
there's far more resources? Okay. There's a bigger population. I mean, we write a lot of grants to fund our programming, and some of the grants you would be applying for in the US would be in the millions, and here you're fighting for $10,000. And there are certain things that I refuse to do, and I'm not going to fight for $10,000. So I just, you know, you reimagine, you pause, you figure out different ways to do things. And I feel like if everybody's going down that street, that road, yeah, I'm not going that way. I mean, it's gonna go another way because
Yes.
I mean, if 100 people are fighting for $10,000, how am I going to help women if I don't even get the opportunity, right?
Right.
So it's uncovering uncommon places, and for me, that's fun. And as of late, I've been very successful with that. So I'll give you an example: an industry I never thought about, truck driving. I never thought about truck driving, but I've entered into this partnership with truck drivers in Ontario to do training for first their female drivers and then
Oh,
for
wow.
all of their drivers, because when you're looking at personal safety driving all over North America for us, it's dangerous work, but
Yeah.
not something I really thought about. So what I've been doing
That's
now,
very interesting.
yeah, isn't that interesting? Yeah, it's fascinating. I'm learning so much. But I'm just trying to remain open. And as I hear Keisha and talk about like the manifestation and just, being open to things, I'm being far more open to things. And I will say that there was a point where I was very rigid, that it has to be this way. These are the people I want to work with. Like, these are my people. These are my organizations. These are the grants. And I'm like, no, there's money everywhere. And there's money to be made for all of us, regardless of the industry that you're in. So I try to be a little bit more open to opportunities. I try to talk less, which is really hard, but I try to talk less. And just, to soak things up, to learn, because I think it helps. And then even when it comes to mentorship, I'm not really a fan of the word mentorship, because I feel like as women, okay, we're going to talk. Tell me what's going on, what do you need? And it never goes anywhere. I want somebody to sponsor me. I want somebody that when they're sitting down with like the CEO of, I don't know, Virgin Atlantic, they're going to say, you know what, there's this woman, Laurie, like, you just have to bring her on to train all of your flight attendants, in personal safety. Those are the relationships that I want. And I don't know if, unfortunately or fortunately, I'll just say the reality is that they're not with people that look like us. Keisha talked about the jealousy. It could be a capacity thing. It could be that we're just not there yet. But old white men love me. And those tend to be the ones that are willing to listen and help. And I'm okay with that, because once I'm positioned, then I'm able to pull, the women in my community up. I'm able to hire them. I'm able to give students internships, things of that nature. So I have found in the years of business that when I just relax and I'm a little less rigid and I'm open, a little bit more open to things start falling into place.
Wow. Can you imagine we've gone through an hour already? I haven't even gotten to a quarter of my questions.
Oh,
How did I think I could speak to these three phenomenal women?
One would take up an hour.
I'm telling you.
Dig into
But
it.
I want to take, I see that we have
amazing.
lots of comments. I want to take some of the comments from our guests. When we come back, I have a final question for all three of you ladies. And I think we're going to have to find a way to bring you guys back later on in the year so we can continue.
Part two.
This is really, really an amazing discussion.
Yeah.
So the question I have.
Well, let's do the comments first.
Well, let me give them the question so they can
think about it.
When
Gotcha.
we come back, we'll talk about it.
Yep.
And I was talking to Laurie and Chantal about it earlier, Keisha. I want to know, what is it about our Antiguan and Barbudan culture and heritage that positions us for a successful business? Are there some factors, values, whatever, that are unique to our culture, our heritage, that prepares us for that journey of entrepreneurship? So, Megan, let's take some comments. Not sure we can take all of them, but we want to definitely come back and give these ladies a few minutes to really summarize that for us.
Okay, let me go through quickly. Manelva Samuel says, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Manelva. Miriam Samuel says, good afternoon, just back from pottery class. That's our seniorpreneur. Manelva Samuel says, brilliant, bold ladies. It's better to try and make some mistakes than fail to try. So true.
Absolutely.
And she says, is it failure or a learning experience? And I agree with you. It's a learning experience.
Absolutely.
And if we can look at failure that way, we'll go much farther because every failure is a learning experience.
Absolutely.
Mhm. That's what we have.
Yep.
That's what we have.
Okay, great. So, Keisha, tell us, what was it that prepared you for the path you're on now? Anything in your culture, your heritage that's unique?
Well, we do have a lot of very good resources, especially as I'm into wellness, lifestyle as a coach. We have our beaches are very healing. We have our herbs, so much wild herbs are growing around, and listening to the old folks like my grandmother, who knew a lot about it. I gravitated to that, and so I know how to use my natural resources to help, and our sunlight as well. But we have this gentleness with our culture, though, even if we feel like we don't really understand it sometimes.
Mm,
We're not as fast paced as the rest of the world. So making a mistake here, it's more forgiving than if, let's say, you were somewhere else in the world and you made a mistake. You, it's more easy for you to end up on the street somewhere if you lose everything, But here, you do get that helping hand. You do have the family. So even if you try and you fail, you still have that right support sometimes with that. Although we do have the negatives with all of that. Like I said, sometimes there's a jealousy and people don't really want to give the information, or they just take your information and run with it. They copycat you and all of that, which is okay because I feel like I'm a creator. I can always come up with great, amazing ideas. So me going into the field that I am right now, I'm hoping that people are going to copycat me, because this is a movement. We're helping people, we're helping to shift lives. So the more people out there that go and get qualified and become coaches, I will even help you with that, as a master coach. And I
fantastic.
just I just think that is the right way to move forward. If you have that kind of mindset, then
Mhm.
you can free yourself from also being closed and not want to share information. So if you believe in yourself, I know myself, I've done the work on myself, cleared the blocks, I have my vision, I know exactly what I want, and I am very passionate about what I'm doing. Started off helping women, as a sacred goddess, helping women to heal their wombs and balance the hormones and all of that. But then I realized that there was something deeper that had us the way we are. And it's emotional connections from traumas stemming from even in the mother's womb. So I know that the work is a deeper work than just telling people what to eat, eating the right things, exercise, doing this. You have to help people to work on their mindset. You have to create a space, that people can vent and share their stories and feel more comfortable. So there is a shift happening on our island right now, and I can see it. I feel it. I'm very confident for the future, where people are going to be coming together, more storytelling, more sharing, and all of that. And we're going to be healing as a nation, and not just as a nation, as an entire world. Imagine, I'm seeing the planet from above. You're not thinking Antigua anymore, or Caribbean. You're thinking whole planet now. So this we have to make it happen.
Fantastic. Thank you so much,
Awesome.
Keisha. Chantal, tell us, what is you, same question. What's prepared you from your heritage and your culture for this journey that you're on?
Okay. Well, my what I really discovered by coming back to Antigua and wanting to spend more time in Antigua, how healing it is. And my journey through entrepreneurship has really shown me like the generational trauma that is there, right? And I know that my generation, my son's generation, is the generation to break that, those curses. And I think that I can contribute to my ancestry and to Antigua with what I've learned in North America and kind of fuse them together. There's so much rich knowledge that we don't know enough yet about from Antigua, and I kind of want to bring that forward too. Because like I said before, right, even though I started out in fashion, the undergarments were a vessel to wellness and self-love. And I want to discover more of that in the island. And I feel very privileged that I grew up in North America and I have a chance to tap in to yeah, in Antigua. And I feel like that's going to make me and the culture even stronger. So I'm looking forward to that and to discovering so much more on the island that I can fuse with my experience and express it outwards to help other people live to their best potential.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. And Laurie, bring it home. Tell us all of this firepower that you're packing. Where is,
that I'm packing. I love it.
all of this firepower. Tell us where it's coming from. Tell us about your culture and heritage.
When I think of Antigua, you always hear small island, right? Because we're not Jamaica with the big population and, the large size. But I always say Antigua and Barbuda is small but mighty. And I think of the legacy that has been set before me from my grandparents. Again, on my mom's side, we're Barbudan. And the things that my grandfather, my paternal grandfather, was able to accomplish with little education, I just think that with just a little bit more education and a step up, he would have been like president of the world. And that is my legacy. That's in my veins, the blood that runs in my veins. And it's something, when I hear the stories, I'm very proud of. And I want to kind of like make my mark and be a part of that history as well. So when I think of Antigua and Barbuda, I think excellence. That's the only thing. And the comment that the woman made earlier about being brilliant and bold, that's Antigua. That's us. That is the truth. And that's what fuels me. That is my fire. So that when somebody says, oh, did you hear about Laurie? She's from Antigua, that they're going to be proud to know that I'm an Antiguan woman doing this work out in the world so that we can be better as a people, as women, a community, and our small but mighty island as well.
Awesome.
Fantastic. I'm
well said.
I'm so honored to have been the one to assemble such a group of accomplished,
dynamic,
just visionary people.
Yeah.
So this has been, we certainly did not have enough time. I feel like each of you need your individual shows with us so we can really peel back the layers. But suffice it to say, I can't think of a better way to end Women's History Month.
Absolutely.
And we all are descendants of, we're all Antiguan and Barbudan, either born or descendants, and I think we have something special here. So I want to end on that note for thanking all of you for joining us, for congratulating you on your entrepreneurial pursuits. I know we will continue to strive, we will continue to thrive.
Yes.
And we are a unique blend of people. Antiguan women are special.
Yes.
We are driven, and I think anyone hearing these stories here today will agree that this is certainly a manifestation of that. So, ladies, thank you once again. We will,
so much.
everyone who has joined us Be sure to watch, if you want to watch this show again, I certainly will.
Oh, yeah.
We invite you to go to our YouTube channel, Samuel Fields Consulting. Of course, definitely follow us. We have really great, I have to tell you, we have some of the most amazing guests. I don't know how we do it, but I encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've had some phenomenal discussions. So if you're someone who's interested in business and finance, just in self-improvement, we encourage you to follow us, and let's continue to have these important conversations. To
Our newsletter, do read.
Oh, that's right. We do have a newsletter, a weekly newsletter. We try to give you some tidbits every week about finance and business and just professional and self-development. So if you want to be on our mailing list, just drop us an email, info@samuelfieldsconsulting.com. We'd be happy to add you to our list so that, you can continue to get the tips, the tools, and the guidance that will help us all to be our best selves. So on behalf of my guests and my co-hosts,
Absolutely.
thank you once again for joining us. And we will continue to have these conversations because all it takes is a little idea. Thank you so much, ladies.
Thanks, ladies. Have a great evening.
Yes.
May the force be with you. Thank you so much.
All right.
Oh my goodness. She has a different, she speaks cosmic language now. Wow.
I speak cosmic.
Oh, sure.
May the force live long and prosper well. Thank you, ladies.
Right.
It's so nice meeting all of you. Thank you so much.
Likewise.
Nice
Bye.
meeting you.
Bye.
Bye.